My name is Karmazin, and I've been at Undercroft since 1988 when I began as a parent. My 4-year-old son started here. Because of his classroom experience and his Montessori experience, I decided to take my training and become a Montessori guide. And I did that in 1990, and I've been here since. Being a Montessori guide allows me to work with each child at their individual level, meeting their individual needs. And I guess my biggest task is to remove any obstacle that is in their way. So I have to, through observation, observe a child, see what obstacles there are that are preventing them from learning, remove those obstacles, clear the path, and then allow the child to reach their full potential. There's a great partnership in being a Montessori guide. Not only are we working with children, but we're working with their families. And I think for me that's really important too, is establishing those relationships with families and truly having an impact, not only on the child, but on the whole family. There is no typical day. What is typical is that there are 20, 21 children doing 20, 21 different things. That's my only expectation for each day. So our job is to come in, observe, see where the children are at, and make sure that we have prepared the environment for those children. If the environment is prepared properly, then that's where the children's needs are met. And so each child connects with the environment, with the classroom, and meets their internal needs or their sensitive periods, as Montessori describes. Dr. Montessori talks about a sequence of internal needs that each child progresses through. She puts some vague time frames on them, but pretty much they move in order. And she believes that these needs have to be met before a child can move on to meet the next sensitive period. And so through observation, we know that a child might be in the need or the sensitive period for small objects. And so then we will prepare materials or lessons for them that address that sensitive period, which then brings that child to that work. Because they're in the sensitive period for small objects, they want to work with small beads, that's how I get math in. And so they become attracted to that material because it's meeting that internal need. For the 3 to 6-year-old, they are in a very strong sensitive period for language development. So that's one of the areas that each of our curriculum areas addresses. So there's language not only in the language area, but there's language in math, there's language in the cultural areas, in the science areas as well. And we fill the child with language experiences. Sensitive periods are like windows of opportunity. And so when a child is in a sensitive period, the window is wide open. And it's very easy then for the child to absorb that kind of information. So we give them as much of that information, language in this particular instance, until that sensitive period is satiated. And then they move on to the next. In the math curriculum, as with most of our other curriculum areas, Dr. Montessori believed that, one, everything needs to come through our hands first, and it has to be a concrete experience. So we design materials, and she has designed materials, that present abstract concepts in a very concrete way. And most of our materials require some type of manipulation and exploration through the hands for the child. The exercises of practical life certainly address many sensitive periods. Sensitive period for pouring, dumping and filling. You'll know most toddlers love to fill things and dump them and fill them and dump them. There's a sensitive period for beauty. There's a sensitive period for movement. And then there's also this sensitive period for, shall we say, real work, meaningful work. And so in practical life, the exercises are designed to be meaningful to the child. They lead to independence, they lead to fine motor development, they lead to coordination and concentration. And the practical life area is really the foundation of the primary classroom. It's through those exercises that the child then develops the skills to move on to more greater works, shall we say, longer sequences, work that requires deeper concentration and more time on their part, and certainly more coordination. For me, the most meaningful experience that a child has or a family has when they're involved in a Montessori school is not so much the academic curriculum. It's an amazingly in-depth, strong curriculum. That they're going to get, that's a given. The additional pieces that Montessori offers really, I believe, set us apart from traditional settings. We look at honoring childhood. We look at, again, allowing each child to reach their full potential, whatever that may be. We also are very, very in tune to character development and being a good citizen, of being a good steward of the earth, of being a member of a community, of knowing how to be a part of a team, and being independent, being responsible, and learning how to make good decisions for themselves and for others. And that whole character piece, those life skills, I think are more important, or as important, to each individual child, to the future of our world, as the academic curriculum is. That's what you feel when you walk into our classrooms, is you don't feel like you're walking into oh, this is an academic school. You walk into a peaceful classroom because the children are content with what they're doing. Their needs are being met, not the needs of the adult. They are working together as a community. They have learned to be compassionate. One thing that Montessori really does well is, again, honor the spiritual nature of the child. And it has nothing to do with religion. The spiritual nature of the child is that all children are good, and that children want to be helpful, and children want to participate. And children have this amazing connection with others that is often, so thwarted so early in life. And at Montessori, we don't do that. We truly honor it, we nurture it, and we allow for it to happen. We encourage it to happen. We model it as adults. And I think that truly creates a whole different being in a child. And that's the difference you see when our adolescents leave here. They truly are connected with who they are as an individual. I feel so fortunate to wake up every morning after doing this for 20 years and still love every single minute of it. I can't imagine not doing it for 20 more years. I couldn't tell you what I love most about it, because it's really hard to think of something I don't love about it. There are frustrating moments, but even those are far and few between. I love watching a child unfold. I love knowing that I've played a part in that they are truly joyful, that they know they are loved. I think that's a very strong missing piece in today's society, that these children know that they are honored as an individual, that they are important. And I hope that they feel that every day, that they know that they have a piece of my heart, because I certainly get a piece of theirs every day. Undercroft is my extended family. What I have found over the years is that the families that are attracted to a Montessori education are families that respect children. And so we all are very similar in that sense. We all share our love for children. And so strong friendships are formed and strong bonds are formed because we're all working towards the same goal. Undercroft is definitely an extended family for all of our families here. The children spend 3, 6, 9 years together, and so they become like siblings that truly care for each other. It's also a place where I feel so honored to work with such passionate people. My colleagues are amazing, and everybody is dedicated, passionate, and invested in the Montessori method. And I have the privilege of traveling a lot and seeing other Montessori schools around the country, and it's always so validating to know how well Undercroft does Montessori.